You know, the image that's been portrayed is we sat around the campfire and said, oh boy, now we go get to torture people. Well, we don't torture people. Let me say that again to you. We don't torture people. Okay?
Come on, George.
We don't torture people.
Khalid Sheikh Mohammed.
We don't torture people.
Waterboarding.
We do not. I don't talk about techniques, and we don't torture people. Now listen to me. I want you to listen to me. So the context is it's post 9/11. I've got reports of nuclear weapons in New York City, apartment buildings that are going to be blown up, planes that are going to fly into airports all over again, plot lines that I don't know. I don't know what's going on inside the United States, and I'm struggling to find out where the next disaster is going to occur. Everybody forgets one central context of what we lived through. The palpable fear that we felt on the basis of the fact that there was so much we did not know.
And that's exactly how we got into the mess that we are in now when it comes to the 9/11 case. Well, new update per Carol Rosenberg of the New York Times, reporting out of Guantanamo Bay regarding Ramzi bin al-Shibh's case and the 9/11 case in general. Judge severs man accused in the 9/11 attacks on Guantanamo trial. And as you can see, this is Ramzi bin al-Shibh. A military judge ruled on Thursday that a defendant in the September 11th case who was tortured by the CIA was ineligible for a death penalty trial, adopting a finding that the prisoner was too psychologically damaged to help defend himself. The CIA doesn't torture, huh, George? Colonel Matthew N. McCall, the judge, disqualified Ramzi bin al-Shibh from what has been a 5-defendant conspiracy case in an 11-page ruling on Thursday evening. Now, you have 4 others. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the main defendant. Amr al-Baluchi, his nephew. Mustafa al-Hawsawi, financier. And Tawfiq bin Attash, also known as Khalad, facilitator and financial supporter of the attacks alleged. And all 4 of these men were brutally tortured. So this is a glimpse of what is about to come. Because Ramzi bin al-Shibh endured just as much abusive and egregious torture in comparison to those 4. Now, I think he was waterboarded 71 times or 81 times. I think Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was waterboarded like 136 or 140 times. Mr. bin al-Shibh was charged as an accomplice in the attacks that killed 2,976 people and is accused of helping organize a cell of hijackers in Hamburg, Germany, whose leader commandeered flight number 11 and flew it into the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001. The judge ordered pretrial proceedings to continue on Friday with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who was accused of being the mastermind of the plot, and the other 3 defendants, but excluded Mr. bin al-Shibh from the hearing. The decision appeared to tactically vindicate a claim by the prisoner's criminal defense lawyer, David Bruck. The CIA torture had made the Yemeni prisoner insane. Prosecutors had urged the judge to reject the August 24th finding by a team of U.S. military psychologists and a forensic psychologist that Mr. bin al-Shibh has a mental disease or defect that left him unable to understand the nature of the proceedings against him or cooperate intelligently with his legal team. The Sanity Board diagnosed him as having post-traumatic stress disorder with secondary psychotic features as well as a delusional disorder. For years, Mr. bin al-Shibh has said he was tormented by invisible forces that caused his bed and cell to vibrate, that stung his genitals, depriving him of sleep. He has disrupted court proceedings and a peace at the prison for high-value detainees who were subjected to enhanced interrogations such as waterboarding, beatings, sleep deprivation, and CIA custody. Mr. Bruck told the judge on Tuesday that Mr. bin al-Shibh was a broken man from his CIA detention. between 2002 to 2006, during which he was held in solitary confinement, deprived of sleep, and abused in other ways, including being forced to stand chained and in a diaper for up to 3 days at a time. He described Mr. bin al-Shibh as so trapped in an endless cycle of sleep deprivation that he could not help mount a defense. Now, we're going to get into that in a little bit because we're going to do a little bit of a background reading on the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence report on the CIA's rendition and torture program, where they were going to torture Mr. bin al-Shibh even if he was given information. And we're going to read that in a bit. So, to George Tenet's earlier point, it's the reason why I played that video, to show you he's a hypocrite and a liar. Prisoners' complex delusions and hallucinations are omnipresent at legal meetings, said Mr. Bruck. In response to a question for the judge, Mr. Bruck said his team devoted almost all of its time with the prisoner trying to mollify him by documenting his delusions or trying to intercede on his behalf with prisoner commanders who responded to his angry outbursts and efforts to damage his cell by placing him in isolation reminiscent of his solitary confinement. The totality of the facts demonstrates an accused who is wholly focused on his delusions. Colonel McCall wrote, again and again he focuses his counsel's work on stopping his delusional harassment, which demonstrates the impairment of his ability to assist in his defense. Severing Mr. bin al-Shibh from the case, the judge essentially suspended his prosecution until his mental health is restored, if at all he's able. How do you reverse 81 sessions of waterboarding? The Pentagon's prosecutor, Clayton Treffitt Jr., argued that the diagnosis was unreliable. Figures it would be, and legally flawed because the 3 Defense Department mental health experts focused on an irrational demand that Mr. bin al-Shibh made at the start of plea negotiations in March of last year. By the way, it's the Defense Department that gave the authorization to the CIA about their C.I.A program headed by James Mitchell and Bruce Jessen, the enhanced interrogation techniques, otherwise known as torture. You could dress up a pig, it's still a pig. Until this week, prosecutors had been offering a maximum sentence of life in prison rather than the possibility of capital punishment in exchange for detailed admissions of guilt by a defendant willing to describe his role in the attacks. Now, the reason why they're giving this plea deal is because they damn well know, the White House knows, that these guys are getting off. They can't use their own words against them because it was coerced by torture. All right, we'll take the death penalty off the table if you plead guilty to all of the charges. If I'm the lawyers for these people, I'm salivating at the bit. Let's get to trial. That's why there's no trial for the last 20 years, because they damn well know there can't be a trial. These guys are getting off. Can you imagine? Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Ramzi bin al-Shibh, and all the rest, they get off? How would that really look to the CIA? That would be finito. That's the end of them. Mr. bin al-Shibh had only one demand, which essentially disqualifies him from negotiations. Make the prison stop assaulting him with its invisible system of sleep deprivation. Prison staff members had testified that is not happening. The judge sealed the full 80-page report by the panel at the request of Mr. bin al-Shibh's legal team, but released a single-page summary of their findings, which would be here. Sanity board, which I'm going to provide at the bottom of the description. On Thursday night, Mr. Bruck said that it is no longer possible to deny that the CIA torture program did profound harm to the people subjected to it. How about that for one, George? You don't torture people, you're full of shit. He added that while the board found Mr. bin al-Shibh unfit in August, there is nothing new about his condition now. He has been like this the whole time, Mr. Bruck said. It's taken this long to admit it. Now, what I want to do is I want to get to the point of the Senate report. I'm actually going to make myself disappear so you can read it in totality. As you can see here, CIA headquarters urges continued use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques despite interrogators' assessment that Mr. bin al-Shibh was cooperative. When C.I.A. interrogators at the detention site Blue assessed that Mr. bin al-Shibh was cooperative, it did not have additional knowledge of future attacks. C.I.A. headquarters disagreed and instructed the interrogators to continue using the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques, which failed to elicit the information sought by CIA headquarters. Now, if you have CIA officers telling headquarters, listen, we tortured this guy, we got information, he has no additional information, and headquarters is saying, no, he's holding back, continue. They damn well know this guy doesn't have any more. Not only that, you damn well know you're psychologically and physically destroying this man. Maybe that's the whole point after all. If this guy is Looney Tunes, he certainly couldn't tell the world what the hell happened to him because he doesn't know what happened to him. He's delusional. Or did they torture these people in the effect that we know they can't use this information in court because it was coerced under torture? In other words, the public will think that they made it up. But what if they were telling the truth? What if Khalid Sheikh Mohammed Ramzi bin al-Shibh were the architects of 9/11? Now, you got to remember, in the winter months, the early winter months of 2002, right near spring, Al Jazeera reporter Yosri Fruder had interviewed Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and Ramzi bin al-Shibh before they were captured. And they told him that they were behind 9/11. Now, that they've been brutally tortured years on end, the public's going to say, well, wait a minute. How can we trust anything they say? I would say anything under torture. Maybe that was the whole point after all. That the people don't know. That they can believe that they were involved with 9/11. That they can believe that they were involved with 80 other operations. But that they can believe that everything is false. But you're not allowed to know it. Let's get back. Interrogators stated that information from Abu Zubaydah and al-Nashiri suggested that Mr. bin al-Shibh would not have been given a new assignment or trusted with significant information given his high-profile links to the September 11 attacks. They further stated that Mr. bin al-Shibh had achieved a substantial notoriety after September 11th, but was still unproven in al-Qaeda circles and may have been privy to information more as a bystander than as an active participant. The CIA's Alex Station disagreed with the assessment of the detention site personnel, responding that it did not believe the portrayals of Mr. bin al-Shibh offered by Abu Zubaydah and al-Nashiri were accurate. And the CIA headquarters assessed that Mr. bin al-Shibh must, not believe, but must have actionable information due to his proximity to KSM and CIA headquarters, belief that Mr. bin al-Shibh has a history of withholding information from interrogators. So there you have it. They were going to torture him anyway, regardless. Whether he gave us information or not, we want more. And he's going to make us give us more. Either it's going to be true or it's not. We don't care. Because maybe there's more nefarious agendas at play here. All right, that is the latest update to what's going on, as usual. Reporting without bias or prejudice. And as more updates will come on, I will always keep you informed. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good night.